My gardens are looking stunning. It's like the time. It's so good. All right. That is a gigantic dog. 120, 130, 140 pounds. Hundreds. That's good. Oh my gosh. Well, welcome everyone. Okay. So it is fall, and there's a lot to do in the garden. Thought we share what that to-do list is in today's class. Just what do you kind of wrap, kind of landing the ship as it rides through winter. And it's some of the most important gardening of the entire year is right now. And so thought I'd go over what I'm doing in my own gardens, and I'd just share that. And if it's working in my garden, I'll bet it'll work in yours too. So my name is Ken. I own the place. This is my daughter, Mackenzie. She owns the place. My wife's working someplace. She owns the place. It's a family business. So we've been here for 62 years. Harold Waters, her grandfather, started the business back in 1962. So that's kind of how Ken and Lisa Lane, Mackenzie Lane come to own Waters Garden Center. It's a bloodline. So we've been doing this for a lot of years, and we found some things really work. If you're from the desert areas, please, for the love of gardening, don't do that. Everything you learned down there, like prune roses now, don't do that. You'll destroy your gardens. So we're pruning in March, not in November, your roses. That's something that you do in the desert. Up here, we want to keep that structure over the top of that heart of that rose because it insulates it, keeps the cold off of it. So it's just a rhythm thing. We do have a frost coming this month. Typically, locals use Halloween. That's our demarcation line. The actual date is October 29. That's 100 years of average. It falls on October 29. That's our first frost. Now, we're famous for Indian summers. I don't know where we came up with that name, but it'll get cold, then it'll get warm back again. It just has this real slow fall into middle of December. It's winter. It's cold. It's like, bone chilling. Go inside, sip coffee, bake cookies, and just hang out for a couple months till spring comes. But there's still some things you can do that keep it going. So right now, any flower that has any remote chance of even looking at me cross-eyed comes out of the garden. I rip it out. I'm looking to add winter color. And there's some things you can do that will keep blooming because we're so mild here. We're 4 seasons, but it's the mildest 4 seasons in I think the country. So that's why we live here. It gets winter, but we're still out with a light jacket on in January. It's pretty nice. So my vincas, they're coming out tomorrow. They've been glorious. They are glorious. But I just know I've only got 2 weeks for them, and then they're gone because if you even look at those cold, they vaporize. So I'm looking to take those plants out so I can have something as I'm looking out that bay window out to my gardens. I want to see something colorful as I'm sipping my coffee and the light snow's coming down. Those are going to be things like pansies. Of course, the chainsaw fires up right as the class starts. These guys love, celebrate cold. You've planted these in other areas, Phoenix. These will bloom for a little bit. These will actually bloom into summer. Like this. I mean, the snow will come, they'll kind of lay down a little bit, and then they pop right back up with the first bit of sunshine, and they're just celebrating, still blooming, and it's freezing tonight. These guys introduce some of these somewhere into your gardens, and I try to bring my gardens closer to the front door. I'm thinking closer to the windows, so as I look out, I can see things like this. Be forewarned, javelina, love these. So don't put them where the animals can get to them. In fact, these are edible flowers. You can add them to a salad or something. Impress your neighbors. Got a Thanksgiving dinner, sprinkle them around as garnish. Oh, I picked these this morning for my garden. I mean, that's just cocky garden stuff. I mean, we're gardeners. We know how to do this, right? So these are pansies, violas. You're seeing those down there. This is another one that is a must for the fall. These are snapdragons. These are evergreen. Now, they won't bloom in January, but they'll bloom till the end of the year. And then the flower stalks will they'll just be these big, tall flower stalks that don't have flowers on them. What I'll do is, whenever they stop blooming, middle of December, somewhere in there, just before Christmas, I'll cut off the stalks and I leave this green part. And they stand up there, tall, green. They look good. In fact, they look good with this kind of stuff because they just give you a foundation, anchor of green. So I'm looking to pull some plants out of my containers, mainly, so my raised beds, places where I'm really where I enjoy the most. I'm trying to introduce pockets of these, not the whole garden, just some. And so that's some easy ones. Snapdragons will actually seed out in the gardens. They're kind of a wildflower. They'll actually never get one. You're going to have a grouping of them. And they come in many different colors. I just brought a couple. They come in sunflower gold, whites, reds, pinks. There's all kinds of them. These are great plants. And javelina don't eat these. Rabbits don't eat these. Squirrels don't eat these. So when I'm doing my containers, what I'm trying to do right now, because I want some freshness, I mean, it's been a good year. It's been a good garden year. I'm fighting a little bit with the mildew. There's some fungal things happening because of all the rain that we've had. It's a good thing. It means we've had some moisture. That's great. So I'm struggling. If you see any kind of white or spotting or any kind of defect in the foliage, as those leaves fall, make sure you collect every single one of them up and throw them away and get them off your property. Don't compost them, because that stuff comes right back onto the plant next spring if you're not careful. Mildews, leaf spot, leaf curl, that kind of stuff. So you're seeing I've seen some fire blight. There's some blacking. You see a leaf with some black on it. That's a classic fungal thing. And you can spray all that stuff. Probably you should spray it. But we're so close to fall, they're going to start, the leaves are coming off. It's a chance to reset. As long as you get all that stuff off. Or give them as a gift to a neighbor that you really don't care for, give it to them. Don't keep them on your property. So that's just something you can watch. Okay, watch your moldy, watch your fungal things. Where was I going with that? Oh, as I'm plugging, I've got lots of big containers, lots of raised beds. My garden is impossible. The soil is impossible to garden in, so I pretty much abandoned the yard. Everything is raised. So I've got down, it's on a hill. So downhill, I've got block. And I just have these stepped gardens all the way through the landscape. What I'm trying to do is introduce some fresh soil into those gardens. So I'm trying to be pretty aggressive. If I've got some vinca, I'm going to take that plant out and try to take a little bit more out. And I'll add that to my compost pile. But then I'm introducing some fresh, new potting soil. Put some freshness in there. These plants are using up the soil, and they've been blooming their hearts out. They've been growing with foliage. They're really happy right now. So you want to replenish some of that. And this is your time to do that. October is this is a sweet spot. This is when you start lawns, grass, wild grass or lawn grass. If you're going to overseed, this is the month. If you're going to extend the lawn, this is the month, because grass seed just pops. It just germinates instantly, roots out, and it'll stay green through the winter. So that's an insider tip. Right now, I mentioned soils. I love poop in a bag. This is barnyard. It's a mixture of different kinds of manures. It's got bird guano and cow poop and goat poop and all kinds of stuff, and it's deodorized, so it doesn't stink. It's not going to stink up your Cadillac. It'll be okay. You can actually handle it. In your hand, it feels like compost, but it's real rich. It's much richer than compost. It's got a deeper, more nitrogen into it. This is the time when you spread this throughout the beds. And I try to put a layer onto things. So if you put a 2 to 3 inch layer, it insulates those gardens and keeps them from freezing. What's going to happen, because the way that our season works, we get a real deep freeze. So it'll get down to 20 degrees, and then it pops right back up to 50. So it just does this freeze thaw thing, and that destroys your root zone. Just freezes, thaws. The soil does this all the time. So if you can put a layer on top of those gardens over the roots where the roots are, it keeps that from breaking all those new root hairs at the top of the root zone. Manure is a good one to do that with. Any kind of organic but it's a chance to add some enriching manures and stuff back to the gardens. Right here.
Already fertilized. Do you put that on top of the fertilizer?
Yeah, good question. So if they've already fertilized, we see you there. I'm glad you guys are tuned in. So, and whenever you all want to go back to watch this, if you missed something, you can watch this on YouTube. It's uploading as soon as we hit end, it's uploading. So you can go back to watch that. And then back to your question. Hold on. I have 3 handouts for you. The list, you'll have it. It'll be in your inbox. If you're a note taker, thank you. I love that. If you miss something, it'll be in your inbox in a couple days, probably on Monday, realistically. So I got to inventory the whole nursery tomorrow. It's going to take forever. And then today it's just going to be busy. So probably Monday, realistically. I've got how to fertilize. So the question coming back to you. And then the top 10 flowers of fall. What do you plant? Those asks. We'll cover some of those. So if you want that, put your email down. If you could, just take a moment because I'm the one inputting that. So I can't read some of your handwriting. Some of you are atrocious. It's embarrassing for you. Just take a moment and write it a little bit slower so I can interpret. Is that a 6 or is that a B? What is that? What are they trying to tell me? Sometimes I put in both because I can't guess. I just go, well, the email server will kick it back. So those will be to you shortly, okay? Back to, if I've already fertilized, which I've got 3 more bags to spread tomorrow, then I'm done. So all my fertilizer stuff we're talking about, I'm done. Sometime in October, you should fertilize. Do you put this on top, below, in between? Do you mix it in? Doesn't matter. Plants don't care. They literally don't care. They just want it. So you're probably using the fertilizer, and I know what you got because I helped you load it, but using this all-purpose plant food. This is an organic plant food, all natural. And the great thing about natural foods, they break down really slow. So they're going to break down over the next 3 months. So from now to the end of the year, this is going to fertilize your plants. The reason this is the most important fertilizing of the entire year, because the plants are rooting like crazy right now. They're loading up, they're storing all those carbohydrates, all those carbs up in the leaves are going down the roots right now. And they're taking this food and they're going to use that to form next spring's leaf buds, flower buds. Extremely important for things like lilacs, fruit trees, forsythia, anything that blooms even remotely in the spring. Your pine trees, they only grow once. They grow in the spring and then that's it. Whatever you get, that's all you get. It doesn't keep growing. This is really important for things like pinyon pines, ponderosas, Austrian pines, any kind of probably evergreen kind of thing. Because they're flushing that growth in April, you want to get those buds as big as you can so you get more growth. You can actually control how much the plants will grow and keep them healthy. If you're in the forest where it's you have a lot of native evergreens, I would say it's super important to fertilize those in the fall because the bark beetle goes after those, pine scale. There's some things that attack the natives. This is what keeps them healthy, robust, and makes them, food and water makes everything happy, healthier, better. So you put this down, just spread it, and it looks kind of salt and peppered when you get all done. So there's directions on how much. This bag will cover about 2,000 square feet. But this is what you use right now. Sometime before Halloween, use this. I'm going to finish mine up this weekend. So, okay. All-purpose plant food. Going back to on top, below, it doesn't matter. The other question always comes up, you gardeners, you love work. Oh my gosh. You do not have to work very hard at gardening. You can just chuck this on top of the rock and it will go through the rock, through the fabric. It'll melt, it'll float. If you see it on top of the ground and that bothers you, just rake it in if you want. But if you really want, some of your gardeners, work it in, churn it, make work out of it, but you don't have to. Organics are going to break down, eventually get into the root zone. It's going to float right through there. All right. We had a question here. Yep. So pine needles and pine cones are fantastic. Her question is, can I swap out some of this for pine cones and pine? I love pine cones and pine needles. If you're up in the forest, there is a bit of a problem. A little bit of pine needles are good. A lot are not because it's a fire hazard. So what you'll do is you'll take some of that off your property. Don't let it. Pine trees will just layer up. They're burying things. They're protecting their root zone so that nothing can grow. and they're insulating their own root zone. They're doing that for a reason. So a little bit is pretty good, but a lot. So a fire, if you're at wildland interface where the fires are a potential, clean some of that up, and I would keep maybe 2-3 inches, because it's going to insulate the roots. It's going to hydrate, keep the plants hydrated, which will make them more fire-wise, because they keep their hydration going. So if it's bigger than that, just think in terms of when you're doing fire, I'm fire rated, all that kind of, a flame is going to be 3 times the height of the material that it's burning. Well, firefighters can take on that. If you leave a foot, now that's 3 foot, all of a sudden it compounds really fast. So a little bit's good. I love to take other folks, like I've got huge pine trees around here, I take it home because I have none, and I'm out of the fire interface over there. So I take those and I use them all the time as compost. They don't add nitrogen. They don't add any value to the soil. All they're going to do is keep the sun from drying out the soil. Pine needles break down so slowly, there's nothing there for the plants to actually absorb and take out of it. And so if you need to enrich the soil, this is better. You need to just insulate around roses or lilacs, pine needles are fantastic. Pine cones are kind of a pain because you can turn your ankles. I don't know. Use them decoratively. I don't know. They're kind of I don't know what to do with pine cones. They attract rats and squirrels. I don't know. But pine needles are fantastic. Great question. If you all have a question online, we know you're tuned in. Just type it in there. We got someone right behind the board. We'll put you to the front of the line. Okay. Now let's go back to, while we're doing fertilizer, just touch on that. All-purpose plant food. Here's a couple other things that I'm doing in my own gardens. We're famous for our blues. Arizona blue cypress, blue spruce, blue junipers. That if it has that rich, deep, silvery blue color, that is one mineral that causes that. Aluminum. Aluminum, as it picks up that plant, it throws the aluminum over top of the green needles. There's actually, you can rub that off and it'll be green underneath, but it's coating itself in aluminum. If you know that, what you can do is put aluminum sulfate, kind of an extra mineral. Because it's not needed on everything, we don't add it to our fertilizer. Plus, it's not organic. It's a mineral, but minerals are not organic. I mean, yeah. Anyway, we're getting into technical stuff, but it's safe. But I do my deodar cedars, those gigantic trees that grow up 80 feet tall, big swooping branches. The new growth can come out blue. It's quite striking because the inner plant is green, outside new growth is blue. You can bring that out with this. So I did take a couple bags of this home with me, and I just spotted my things I want to bring out the color. I just want my plants to look better than your plants. It's a gardener thing. Don't you want your yard to look good going down the street? You want the neighbors to go, how did you do that? Well, yeah, I took this class. This guy told me aluminum makes it all go. So that's an insider tip. Things that like really acidic things like hollies, hydrangeas, azaleas, Daphne, those really early spring bloomers, they like this stuff too because it makes the ground real acidic. Okay. Questions on that? Got it? The other one that I'm using right now, superphosphate. I'll take a bag. I'm spot treating this kind of stuff. So I want my lilacs to be, whoa, I can't believe there's that many flowers. I can't believe the forsythia are that intense in color. Things that are blooming really early, Daphnes, gardenias, things that are blooming really early, superphosphate is what brings out that flower. So this is 0, as you look at the numbers, 0, 18, 0. So what that is, nitrogen, phosphorus, potash. Nitrogen forms foliage. So if you want maples, you want more green leaves, bigger leaves, more leaves. If your aspens are looking kind of small, well, let's give them more nitrogen. The middle number is roots and blooms and fruits. You want bigger fruits, more flowers, you give it phosphate, superphosphate. And then the last number is potash. This is disease resistance. It makes the leaves thicker, the stems stronger, more sturdy, gives it hardiness. So that's what the 3 numbers actually do inside the actual plant. So if you know that about those numbers, Well, you can kind of manipulate certain things and go, I want my crab apples to be way over the top. Boom, just get a little bit of that around that plant. I don't do the entire yard, mainly just those strategic plants. Make sense? Yep. I would do it right now. All of this I'm doing before the end of October, before Halloween. Do it all right now. Yep. Plants will use it. I would not so much maples for this. I would think more the all-purpose plant foods for maples.
Okay.
This kind of stuff. Did I bring soil sulfur? I didn't bring soil sulfur. If you've got some plants, so the maples are turning red. The Virginia creeper is red. The sumac, so you can tell fall it started. And it's just going to ramp up through the middle of November, and then we kind of get done. So by the 1st of December, the last of the fall trees are done. That's going to be your pear trees, your ornamental pears like Bradford's, Capitals. They're the last ones to turn red in the fall, and then it's just winter. You better have some of your evergreens kind of powered up to hanker you, because you're going to look naked otherwise. Just the plants are going to be without foliage by December, basically. So between now and then, if the plants are off color, like they should be rich, they should be better, they should be more orange or brighter red. Or why are my neighbors better color than mine? There's one thing that does that, and it's chemistry. The soil pH in your ground has crept up too high, and it locks up a lot of these minerals, mainly the iron, magnesium, some things that the coppers, the zincs. It locks all that up, and the plants can't turn color. So that's the only, so if you can lower that pH, make it more acidic, the plant will brighten up. Probably not this fall, but if you know that's what caused that, you can set the stage for better spring growth and then better fall next year. So your pH crept up too high. If you see that, that's an indication you probably have real heavy clay, that white minerally stuff is building up in your soil, and it's causing, and your plants are telling you, hey, gardeners, wake up, look, I'm struggling here, help me out. And then so you can correct that. What you do is you add soil sulfur. There's actually it actually looks like sulfur chips. You spread that on there, every time water hits that, it'll lower, it makes that soil more acidic. You see that, you probably ought to do that now. Probably ought to do it again in spring. So those are two things I can give you insider tips. That's not everyone is doing that. If you're regularly feeding things, you probably don't have that issue. But if you just moved into a house, maybe that a gardener was there, they weren't able to garden the last 10 years, the plants are kind of struggling, they need some gardener TLC, you might need to kind of correct that, help the plants get going. Does it make sense? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yeah. So she planted a Virginia creeper, great native plant. You're going to love that. It's just going up a trellis, and it hasn't started to turn color yet. It's a bit early. It will. Give it time. So impatience. I love you gardeners. Just always impatient. I want more. I want it now. It should be filling this trellis right now. Next spring, what you're doing this stuff now for next spring's growth. That thing is going to root out like crazy. And Virginia creeper, they have a big fleshy, like a root, like a carrot kind of thing. It has a real funky, gigantic root to it. And that's what makes it so hardy. It's bulking up on that, so it'll just unleash next spring with new growth. So, but the fall color, it's coming. So, okay. Oh, let's see. Where was I at? Oh, I got all the minerals done. That's good. If things are stressed, you've got brown leaves. This summer, it was hot. Some plants they freaked out, and you're seeing the leaves brown out. If you see stress on the plants, those plants, I'm strategically going to add some humic. This is humic acid. I don't recommend this all the time, but some of you have some stressed out plants. I've seen them in the yards or in my neighborhood. I had one that I'm trying to kind of correct. I kind of missed it. I need to tune up the irrigation, and I'll do that. But now I want to help it. What this does, it helps the plant. It feeds the soil. So the worms, the mycorrhizals, the plant just wants to root in that soil better. So this doesn't feed the plant per se, it lowers the pH, but it really feeds the soils. Plant goes, there's a symbiotic thing with the soil that plants work with. If it sees the soil's healthy, it goes, whoa, it's got to be okay to grow here. This is a root out. And so probably you've lost some of those roots because the plant dried out. The roots dried. Physically, the roots are damaged and they shrank. You're going to have to get those to grow back out. And now's the time to do that. So if you don't have stressed plants, you've got mature yards, don't need this. But for those of you that do, or if you've got a brand new landscape, you put a whole bunch of stuff in and you just want them to bulk up, need more roots, this is a good product for that. Yeah.
I planted a few great sequoias out in the
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
One of them was stressed when I bought it. That was up front. And I said, okay. And it doesn't look good. It's not losing its foliage yet,
Okay.
but it's brown. Is that helping?
Yeah. So he's got some sequoias, and one of them's talking to him, stressed out. The others are better.
Fine.
If they're new, this is going to help because brand new things. If they're planted this year, the roots, they were in that bucket. Maybe they've rooted out this much. You want to root out this much. So this is going to help any new landscape, any new plants, but especially stressed out plants. So yes, it's going to definitely help. And I would do them both. I would do the all-purpose food in addition this. So these are additions. I'm giving you the frosting onto your core is going to be the all-purpose plant food. Great questions. Yeah.
So I had a ton of coneflowers, acacia,
Yeah.
and yarrow, and even the snapdragons. They all looked great, and then all of a sudden, it's like, man, all the flowers were black.
Oh, yeah. So she had echinaceas and some other flowers. They're blooming like crazy, happy, happy, happy. Then the rains came and all the flowers turned black. That's fungal. It's fungal. So just care. They're going to go dormant. They're going to hibernate underground. All those perennials, flowers that just come back year after year, they're going to hibernate underground. So I'll just probably take my lawnmower or those because it could, without seeing it, actually what's going on, it sounds like a fungus thing. So you got some mildew and the rains have caused that. And so if you could take those and get them off your area and go, not the whole plant, just the flower piece, just the flower. Yeah. Don't go extreme on me. Just
So I just
tops are the way to go. And you're seeing a lot of spotting. I'm seeing every day. You're seeing something like that. It's unusual. I think it's because we've been so dry so long. All of a sudden we've gotten some moisture and like the fungus has been sitting there waiting to come to life. And finally, this is the year it can come back to life. So yeah.
A little bit. I have a whole bunch of the salvia with the beautiful bright pinky red.
Yeah.
And they're starting not the flower to turn black, but the little leaves on it. So that would be fungal as well.
Yes. Yeah. You've got one of these, right?
Yes.
And so hers, she's saying that, so she's tagging on to that. She said the leaves are turning black, but the flowers are fine. That's a fungal thing. It's basically athlete's foot of the foliage. Pretty much that's what it is. I mean, that's what it is. Yeah, what'll happen is this is going to go dormant by just after Halloween. It's going to drop all its leaves. Just pick those leaves up, chuck it away. I didn't know fungus was that bad. I knew it was something because I'm seeing it in my own yard. So it looks like it's amongst all of us, which is not unusual. There's a product inside the store called Fungicide 5. Let's think 5. It's a good organic fungicide. It's like really good. And so if you've got some mildew on your roses, on your salvias, your echinaceas, I would say it's probably good to get some of that and just spray it. It's a foliage spray. And you can also use it as a drench. So you could pour it on the plant and actually absorb some of this. That's going to help the plant battle the fungus that's going on. So, okay, good questions. You're awfully needy in the back. Now that you should be in the front row next time. I know where you're at. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
it's not a fungal issue with them, because I live in Columbus, so I don't necessarily have that much moisture retention.
Right.
It tends to dry.
Oh, nice. Cool.
I spray them every Saturday.
Yeah. She lives out in Cordis, and she's got mealybug issues. That can happen. They actually cause nests like ants or something. And they can go strip foliage, they eat seedlings. They can really cause damage. So you don't see them as much because they're underneath rocks. They're just kind of hiding in their nooks and crannies. There's a product down there. What is that called? This is the spray, not the spray. No, spinosad's not going to touch it. No, the spreader, Turf Ranger. Oh, go all Turf Ranger on them. So it's like a granular, it's like a fertilizer. You spread it and then you activate it with water. It'll penetrate down. They'll come out that night. And your problems will be gone. So newly transplanted, any earwigs, anything that's down underneath the grounds. I just did my yard where the rocks. I've got those ankle buster kind of rocks where the holding things together. My ants love to hide underneath those. And then they come in the kitchen, and that's rude. I don't care if you can live out there, but as soon as you come into my space, that's not welcome. So I all turf rangered them. I just spread some of that last rain we had. I was out there, it was one of those crazy neighbors going, I'm going to kill all this doggone ants. And so it vaporized them. So I'll do that a couple times a year, seems to keep them in check. And for you, that might be the case. It doesn't affect the plants, just takes out the bugs. For you, because you've got a dog, what I would do is, because it's not organic, it's highly effective, I would spread it and then I'd hose it in so it goes into the ground. As soon as it's in the ground, you're safe. Just a kind of insider. I've got dogs too, so that's why I do it in the rain too. So it just kind of takes care of that extra step for me. Yeah.
So online, this gal Karen removed
Hey, Karen.
foot of zinnias from mildew. Should she retreat the area before she plants?
Oh, that's actually a good question. Well done. I like that. So she removed some photinia, zinnias. Okay, zinnias, because it had mildew and stuff. She pulled those out. So does she have to do anything to the ground before she plants? I would say it's not going to hurt, but it's really, I don't know if you have to go that extra step. I would say you'd be better off probably getting some extra mulch or compost or something in there, blending that into the ground and amending the soil would actually be healthier for the plant, and then plant. So probably it's not going to migrate on to the next. I wouldn't say plant more zinnias in there. I would say plant something different, like pansies or something. You're probably okay. Okay, great question though. Yep.
Since we're talking about fall,
I should do this too.
Pre-emergent
Yeah.
is a big topic in my neighborhood.
Yeah, it should be.
To do, not to do.
Yeah.
Good ones, bad ones.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
So pre-emergence, he's talking pre-emergence. That is, there's weeds everywhere. If you put pre-emergence down, you don't have weeds everywhere. If you didn't, you have weeds everywhere. So what pre-emergence do, they put a layer in the soil so the seed cannot put a taproot down. That's bottom line, that's what it does. Doesn't kill weeds, doesn't affect weeds, doesn't affect plants. It just keeps seed from sending their taproots down. Well, if you know that, you can strategically put preventers down, or weed and grass stoppers, what we call it down here. I like the one that's put together by High Yield. The one we sell is better. The reason is I picked that one because it's got a broader, it affects more weeds, more varieties of weeds. So it's a better product. It's a couple dollars more, but it does a whole lot more. It would be after watered in afterwards. Yeah, you got to get it into the soil. And so that's one to do in the rain, or just water it or put it down. Anyway, so strategically, when do you do it? I do it in June because I know the rains are coming in July. I just know it. So I'm going to do it right before I know there's weeds about to come. And that's when tumbleweeds grow as big as a VW beetle. That's when horehound starts taking off and taking over the corral. That's when weeds go crazy. The goat head starts spreading out. It's one of that little seed that comes up. You step on it, and just goes, ouch. That's an annual. It only comes back by seed. If you can keep that seed from germinating, no more goat head. These are really easy to control, but you gotta be strategic with it. The other time I put it down is right before the winter weeds come. So usually in February, I'm going to put down again, because that's when all the foxtail, that's the grass, is so cute. And then it puts this burr on that wants to go through your your sock, through your ankle, out the other side. It's a terrible weed. Only comes back by seed. You can keep the seed from germinating, it won't be a problem. That's when your dandelions take over, is in March. If I know that March is my time, I'm going to put that down right before they show up. So strategically, I put it down twice a year in my own gardens. And I don't have weeds. And I'm not a weeder. There's two things I hate about gardening. I loathe watering. I know some of you, that's your hobby. For me, that's why we created computers to run irrigation systems. I hate watering. So everything is watered by itself, and I hate weeding. So I love the weed and grass stopper. So does that get you going? And I can come out to your neighborhood, tell you, I don't know, we'll help you with that one. We need to get smarter with weed and grass stoppers. Because we have so many rock lawns, weeds are actually more difficult to deal with. The easy way to deal with that one is just you're not spending money on lawn food. You're spending money here on weed and grass stopper. You still need to kind of maintain that big swath of landscape. Something about this real quick before I put it away. This is autumn sage, or Salvia greggii. It's a great plant, gets up about knee high, kind of ball shaped. A mistake many people make with this is they prune it back too hard, too soon. You need to treat this like a rose. So you want to keep the structure up around the plant so that that extra structure will protect the heart of the plant. Cut this back in March. Don't cut it back too soon, or it can die from the cold. Just personal experience. My name's Ken. Just sharing stuff that's worked in my yard. I think it'll work in yours too. But a big mistake I find my Prescottonians, or you accountants and nurses, you're so perfectionist. You like everything in order. And so you cut it back because it's lost its leaves, and then it just doesn't look very good. You want to just trim it, shape it, keep it intact. You maybe give it a haircut if it really bothers you, just a little bit. But then you take back the main pruning back in March. That'll really help you. Okay.
Is there anything you prune in this time of year?
There's nothing you prune this time of year.
Okay.
Don't need to prune. Our pruning mainly starts after the new year. That's when we prune. That's when fruit trees get pruned. The reason you wait now is there are so many bugs, so many diseases, there's so many things out to get into that cut to kill off the tree. Things are actively growing right now. So you want to wait till it gets a hard freeze and the bugs are actually killed, or they're hibernating, they're not there, the fungus is down, leaves are off. So you're strategically waiting till after the new year. And then just pick a nice day. You've got 3 months. January 1 through the end of March. Take your time. I am giving things a haircut right now. Like my Cecil Bruner roses, they're going nuts. They put on this much growth like last week. And now listen, you're in the walkway. You keep catching me on my arm. Don't do that. So I'll strategically take out things. That hard pruning, really shaping, I'm going to do it after the cold really permeates in. Okay, yeah, good. Okay, let's go down the list. I wanted to cover a couple things. I'm kind of on time, kind of off time. Let's cover grasses real quick. Pampas grass. I got a couple of them here. So we are famous for our grasses here. We just grow grasses so well. The most famous of all grasses is pampas grass. That's one of the great big plumes, gets up about head high. Actually, there's a bigger one that gets up as tall as this greenhouse. It's gigantic. We don't sell that one. It's too big. I mean, who needs a grass that's 20 feet tall? That's just crazy, except in Cordis. This one actually has better blooms, has more blooms or plumes, and it's longer lived than the bigger pampas grass your grandparents grew. So if you don't have big plumes, the reason I brought this one is it's only because of one reason. It's starving. You need to fertilize more often. These guys are big, aggressive growers, and it takes a lot of energy to pull that off. So if you simply fertilize it more often, you'll get more plumes. Okay, so, or if it's thin and wispy, some of my neighbors, they got really thin. They're not big and chunky. They're just thin. That's starvation. So it's telling you, if you know how to read plant talk, it's saying, oh, I need a little bit more food. So you hit it with the all-purpose plant food a little more often. You have this glorious, glorious pampas grass. The Question always comes up, when do I prune this and how often? You prune this in March or anytime after the new year. What I'll do with my grasses, I leave them up, even though they've turned brown. I'll keep them up because they've got great structure. They look kind of fally. They look neat. They've changed color. They're still showing off. They still feel pretty, even though they're hibernating down under the ground. Eventually in January, the snows come, and as soon as the first snow comes and it lays over, okay, that's it. You're no longer pretty. I break out the lawnmower, the weed whacker, the hedgers, and I start cutting them back, and I'll cut them back to the ground somewhere in here. Pampas grass, you'll see, it'll have some curly Q. You're cutting it back to about, I don't know, just below knee high or so. You do want to cut this one back. It'll have some green and some brown, but I cut it back to reset it so that all the foliage that comes out is all green and lush. If not, you get this mixture of green and brown. It just doesn't quite look right. You reset it after the new year sometime. It looks cleaner throughout the year. This one really doesn't care when you prune it back. New Year's, February, March, it doesn't care. Do it when it's convenient for you. Makes no difference on the root structure. It doesn't get damaged by cold, okay? Pampas grass. Questions? Got it? You can plant this now. This time you plant it, but when you prune it back, everyone always asks, when do I prune my grasses? It's usually when you prune your fruit trees, when you're pruning back your summer things, okay? This is maiden grass. It's just a maiden, like you got it, maiden grass, you got it. It's a good strong grower. I like this one because it just is not as aggressive. It's easier to maintain. It's not going to cut you it's soft, whereas pampas grass, you would never rub a pampas grass. You would just come out with paper cuts everywhere. This one, not a big deal. And it doesn't get as big. It just gets about hip high or so. Blooms a long time. It blooms longer than pampas does. It's a longer bloom cycle to it. So it starts blooming late summer through the end of the year. And then my favorite, this is perennial of the year a couple of years ago. This is Coral Forester grass. The reason I like this one, first of all, in the backyard, the dogs, they like to chew on it. It tastes good to them. And I like to plant for my animals too. But it starts blooming in May. It's the very first grass to start blooming. All the other ones bloom late summer, fall. So I just get a lot of bloom cycle. I've got 3 of these in my gardens, just big, glorious thing. And it's been glorious for months and months and months. When it finally dies back to the ground, usually by January, it's going to be brown. I'll leave it up because these plumes are pretty. Sometimes I'll harvest them, add them to arrangement or whatever at the front door. Eventually, I'm going to take a lawnmower over and just go wick, set it back to the ground and go, okay, I'm done. And then I fertilize it and it comes back and it starts growing into February, something like that. Starts getting a nice green mound and it starts to send off those plumes in May. Okay, so Coral Forester grass. There's all kinds of other grasses down there. They're all planted now. This is your time for grass. They love October. This is the month for grasses. And this is the time when you get to see them show off. You can see what the plumes actually look like. Whereas earlier, you're looking at picture tags. What does that look like? I can't tell. Yeah. I do have native grasses too, the Miscanthus and some of the others. They're all down there. I just saw these because they're pretty. And everyone plants pampas. It's the number 1 seller, pampas. I don't have one in my yard, but I have 3 of them out in the front landscape because everyone goes, what's that grass? Because I just know, why fight it? Just show them what it is and have lots of them here. So they're too big for me. They cut you. They're too hard to maintain. The other one too, grasses, especially pampas, the big ones, they don't live forever. They live for about 7, 8, 10 years at most. And then the center dies out. It starts to get this, there's no way to recover. It just starts to choke itself out. When that starts to happen, I'm giving you permission, for the love of your neighborhood, dig the thing up. Replace it. For 40, 50 bucks, you have a brand new lush one for the next 50 years. Don't leave an old, ugly plant in your landscape. It's bringing you down. So I'm giving you permission to kill. It's not going to ever look good again. So some plants are like that. Russian sage, that big purpley flowery one, it's great, but its lifespan, about 7, 8 years. Then it starts to recede. It starts coming up everywhere. It's hard to maintain. It gets mangy looking. The middle gets woody. It just has a lifespan. You know how long it takes to dig a Russian sage out? About 5 minutes. Pop it, just go, put a new one in. Then you're fresh, flush, new for the next. The plants are not forever. Plants are made to bring that $1 million house, make it look glorious, and not meant to bring you down with something dying out in the front yard. Anyway, I'm on my soapbox, sorry. Okay. This is Nandina. Californians call it heavenly bamboo. The rest of the country calls it Nandina. So it's a great little plant. The reason I brought this is because it's an evergreen plant. It looks like this year-round, but if it's out in the full sun, it gets these bright red, kind of gets more and more of this bright red color. The more sun it gets, the brighter it gets. So it's an evergreen, but not really. It's an evergreen sometimes, and it's ever red through the winter. It's got this real dramatic cycle to it. I like it because it looks soft and it just looks good, but animals don't eat it. So I like it in containers. I like it in my raised beds because it's just so robust. And I don't have to worry about my deer coming through and just eating on the foliage. It looks delicious. They don't eat it for some reason. So lots of varieties out there. I brought this for you because this is yucca. My yucca is not blooming anymore. It just has a stalk on it with these little bean pods on it. So I want to just show you, what do? I have just cut back just that one stem, back as close as I can, and that's all I've done. So when it's done blooming, cut off the flower stem. If it's out by the front door, I have actually taken those blooms and painted them red for the holidays, paint them orange, put little googly eyes on them. It's kind of cool. You can have fun before you cut it back, but eventually before next spring, you're going to cut just the stalk off and that's it. Don't let your landscapers who are helping you maintain your property, don't let them think this is grass and cut off everything. That's just rude. So don't let them, this is an evergreen, glorious plant. It'll take them a whole year to recover from a mistake of cutting back the foliage. That's just a lesson going, what do I do? Same with all your things like this. If they've got a flower on them, Spanish daggers, they've got a big white flower, you can cut it off when it's done. You kind of go, I'm kind of done with that. Cut it off at your convenience. Go, just clip it off. That's it. Agaves are different. Agaves are the ones that grow like 10, 12, 15 feet tall. They've been glorious. Well, the mother plant has died. That one does not come back. So usually you just dig that up and you'll see little pups. There's little tiny babies all underneath that. They will now take their mother's place. So, okay. Euphorbia lesson. It's probably my favorite perennial for today. I have favorites every year, something new, cool. I go, oh, that's kind of fun. And I play with it and I work with it, see how it grows. This is the original Euphorbia. I guess the original is gopher plant, or gopher spurge. There's a blue looking one that grows wild. It's a native looking thing. This is from the same family. It's an evergreen perennial. Gets upright about that tall, kind of vase shaped, and it glows like this. The flower is the same color, has kind of a Dr. Seuss looking, two-tone looking, it's kind of a fun plant. It uses a lot in containers in the yard because it just is it looks like this in mid-January. So it's just fantastic. This is the next one that came out a couple of years ago. This is Burgundy. This or Merlot, Euphorbia. They're the exact blonde or brunette. That's the only difference. They're the same plant, different color. Same shape, just different color. Both evergreens. So great little plants. This one is also a Euphorbia. It's a native, grows up. It's funky. If you like agaves and cacti, this is for you. If you like perennial flowers and color in cottage gardens, but they're both the same plant. The DNA is the same. Why they look that different, I don't know. It'd be great if I could put that foliage on top of these. That'd be really neat. We'll figure out how to do that. But this one that just evergreen, sits out in the yard. I just planted one of these. I did not put it on my drip system because I know I would overwater it. I'm watering this one by hand, so I don't gardeners are generous, and we like our water. This one's will die if you water it too much. Okay, just euphorbias. Quick euphorbia lesson. Echinaceas, I brought this. The perennial, I brought these for. There's actually a logic to the class. These are the triggers for me. What I'm doing right now with my rudbeckias, my black-eyed Susan, my echinaceas, all the things that have those big flowers, I'm letting them go to seed right now. I'm not deadheading anymore. So October, I stopped deadheading. So this one, if you pinch this flower off, it'll send another flower. You're seeing flowers pulsate through. It'll keep blooming. You can keep it blooming. Right now, I'm letting them go to seed so that my winter birds have something to snack on. I'm purposely leaving the seed for them to snack on. Anyway, I like the birds. I have a lot of birds. It's ridiculous how many birds I have because I'm planting for them and I leave things out for them. And I won't prune these back. They'll go brown on me. They're going to hibernate underground. Great perennial plant. They're going to come back next year, but they're going to hibernate. But all these seed heads will be up there for the bird finches and stuff to kind of feed on. You'll see whole flocks of them go whoosh, kind of real aggressively, and they all fly off all at once. Kind of fun. It's hilarious to watch. So that's either with echinaceas. Look at the seed head. Just let them go. And I'm trying to encourage them. I would fertilize them so they get more seed heads, bigger seed head, chunkier, big, healthy winter birds. You could do that with. All these guys are perennials. They come back year after year. When they're finally done, I'll probably take the lawnmower weed whacker to these. When the seeds are gone or the snow's come and knocked them all down, then I'll kind of prune them back. That's probably realistically February or March, and I'll do that. So you're starting to feel springs here, kind of tell the winter blooming jasmines have been out. They're in full bloom. The forsythia are about to break. You're seeing spring. The daffodils are blooming. That's kind of my time. Oh, I'll go out and fertilize everything. Cut them back, get them ready to start growing for the next season. Okay. Take a quick sip here. Gatorade. You have a favorite color? I don't. I like them all. I just like Gatorade. I don't know what it is.
We're just waiting for you to get to the white.
The white one. The rose. Yeah, I brought this. Roses. The best show of roses is in the fall, and they'll bloom until about Thanksgiving. They'll take some light frost. So when the heavy freeze comes, that's when they'll stop blooming. So I'm really trying to keep my roses blooming right now because they'll actually bud up. And if I really get them happy, they'll actually keep those flower buds through the end of the year. So they won't open. But just for a gardener, the hope of blooms is good enough in winter. That's good enough for me. I'm happy. So I'm kind of keeping them shaped. They've kind of bloomed out. If you just let them, if you don't deadhead them, if you deadhead now, you'll have another flush of growth. Take those spent flowers off and you'll get this another flush again. There's still plenty of runway. We are not at winter. There's plenty of fall left. So roses are one I think people give up too soon on. And their best show is not spring. Their best show is now. So encourage that. So cut them back, fertilize them, get them going. I do see, look at that, a little bit of touch. That's rosea. So roses are so inbred. They should have buck teeth and they should have ugly hair, and roses are so inbred that sometimes they get these yellow leaves on the inside. That means it's heavily bred. This is an iceberg rose. So I don't know why I shared that. I know a lot about roses. I know the guys that develop roses. They're personal friends. Like they're breeding the new colors. We hang out and have dinner together. So, and they live in Arizona. They're right here, Casa Grande. A lot of the roses that are developed in the country, in the world, right here. Arizona is famous for their roses. Okay, what else? Got that lesson done. I showed this off. That was Virginia Creeper, just the red. Have patience. This just turned this week. So we're just starting to see the leading edge of fall color. Virginia Creeper is a wild native plant. You'll see this out in the forest underneath the pinions, the junipers, underneath the oak trees. You'll just see this. Generally not growing up stuff, kind of as a ground cover more. You can easily train this to go up a fence or up a trellis. So great little plant. No, full sun, full shade. It just grows wherever you want it. It's totally flexible. It could be, I noticed the best color comes out in more sun. So more shaded areas, hard shade, the color is kind of brief, then it defoliates. It is deciduous. It will lose its leaves and just hibernate just there. It'll come, the foliage will come back from the stems. So it's not going to come back from the roots. It's coming back from the main stems as well. So, okay. All right, we are getting down to it. Couple quick lessons. Time to plant things like, brought these because it's time to put in your winter veggies. Yeah. Oh, they haven't bloomed. I'm so sad. That hurts me. And my soul just died a little bit. As a gardener, we can help you with that. So roses, you're going to have to cut them back probably in March. Whether you can get blooms this fall, they haven't bloomed all year. God, there's something going on there. Probably it's going to be, you got big, chunky, take a picture, bring it in and show it to us. But those big, chunky canes, they don't produce flowers. So roses form on brand new, flush, new growth. Anything you can do to have that nice, vibrant, new green canes, that's where the flowers come from. So we might need to teach you how to cut that back so that you can get more green growth out of that next spring. But I would say fertilize it now with the all-purpose plant food. That's this one. Fertilize this one. There you go. We saw you. We know you're there. That's a great question, actually. Same with anything that stops blooming. It's probably going to be a nutrient thing or a pruning thing. So we're famous for our lilacs not blooming in spring. I get this every year. There'll be waves of people going, my lilacs, they just don't look like my neighbors. Why does hers look so good and mine are wimpy, thin? Or it's probably because you pruned it back in midwinter. You pruned all the flowers off. They're forming flowers right now. So if you prune it back in midwinter, you prune the flowers off. Or you'll see just flowers come off to the side. You'll see that all the time. Neighbors went, oh, knucklehead move. They didn't know. They pruned at the wrong time. Or you didn't fertilize enough. These are heavy, heavy feeders. To pulsate waves of roses, it takes a lot of energy to do that. You're going to have to fertilize more often here than you do in other parts of the country. So food and pruning, we'll show you how to do that. Right now, your tomatoes, any vegetable in the garden fades, rip it out of there. So cucumbers are done. I just put my watermelons, picked them, they're done. I'm putting in the winter veggies. So broccoli, cauliflower, lettuce, spinach, all the things you're picking the foliage or the flower, broccoli. Those are winter blooming plants. Winter harvesting. They like the cool. They don't like summer. So if you put cauliflower in too late in spring, it'll bolt on you, gets off flavored. The lettuce has a bitter taste to it. The spinach is always bolting the flower. You just can't keep it from flowering. That's because it likes the cold. So you plant those things in really early spring or in fall, you get better harvest. So if you're a vegetable gardener, now's the time. Yeah.
Do you plant those things now at seed?
Can you plant it by seed or by starts? You can do seed. I like starts, especially now, only because I just know I know the consistency. I know I'm gonna have broccoli for Christmas dinner. I just know it.
So if you put in those little plants now, should you already clip some of the leaves so you let us?
Gotcha. You can plant them. Yes. Okay. So for you folks online, I know you're there. So her question is a great one. If I plant starts, let's say this lettuce, isn't that beautiful? I like to use this in my containers because it's pretty, and then I can go pick some if I want. So this, you could plant that. Generally, I'll leave the foliage up and let it root out. It'll root out like instantly. Like in a week, it's going to go boom, starting to root. You can start picking off some foliage. I don't want to pick off too much because it needs a foliage to make the roots. So it's which one's first, the chicken or the eggs? Well, I like to have both, chicken and the egg. So a few off of there is good. It's still a small plant. You want each of these plants to turn this big or bigger. It's going to take a couple weeks before that happens. And then you'll be picking lettuce till the end of the year. You'll be picking kale through winter, parsley through winter. These are cool season edible plants. Your basil, it's about to vaporize. By the end of the month, it's gone. There's no way to keep it. There's no way to protect it. You should keep on your radar, watch the Weather Channel, because your tomatoes, by the end of the month, there's going to be heavy. There's your first frost. You ought to be able to pick those right away. So you should be alert. You should be ready, either with a frost cover of some sort to protect it, because it's going to get warm again. So again, Indian summers. It gets cold, it doesn't stay there. It's going to come right back. You want to protect those first few events and keep it growing. So just be ready to protect that zucchini plant that's going to be gone with the first bit of frost. Either cover it, or you'll pull your tomatoes out of the ground, hang them upside down in the garage or the garden shed, let them ripen on the vine. There's different tricks you can do with that. Just know the frost is coming the end of this month. Last year, I think it was the first week in November. That's why the average is the end of October. Sometimes the middle of November, sometimes it's middle of October. But the average is about Halloween. Yeah, in the back. That's interesting. That could be fun as a gardener. So our question is, can I just take my basil, cut it off, and root it out in water? Usually, like my plants are so gigantic right now, I probably have more basil than I can actually use. So now you're making the pestos, you're making the ice cubes. There's different tricks. All the internet stuff. Check our website. It's got 10 ways to use, harvest, and store herbs. Basils. You could probably take a few cuttings and just try it for fun, because it just would be fun. Good deal. Can you leave it in water? She's got water roots on there. Water roots are not dirt roots. I would say I would try it and play with it. The one thing is, there's a soil down there. It's called seedling mix. It's a real light, airy. It's made for those air roots or for seed. See, they're real sensitive. If you get a soil that's too heavy, it'll just rot right off and won't work. I want you to have success. Get a bag of seedling mix and put it in your little container and just try it that way. My guess is you're going to be just fine. Yeah, good. Very good question. Yeah. Yeah, which ones are going to be winter? Which herbs go through winter and which ones don't? Most go through the winter. The ones that don't are going to be basically basil. Coriander won't. Cilantro or coriander, cilantro, they're both the same thing. It depends on the spot where they're at. Sometimes they hibernate underground. Some, like mine, does not come back. But I'm up I'm on a hilltop, overlook Prescott Lakes. It gets too cold, so it goes away. But my sage comes back, my oregano comes back, my thyme, rosemary, lavenders, mints of all types are a weed. They keep coming back. So most of them are perennials. So basil's the one, though, that gets this fools folks. Along that same line, I brought this. If you're new to the area, especially my Southern California folks, you love your succulents, your tropicals. This will die. It will turn into black mush by Thanksgiving. It's first hard freeze. This is going to freeze. This is not a hardy aloe, but it looks kind of like, I mean, there's some semblance to these. These are all hardy. Get that without poking myself. Hardy. All these guys love the cold. They'll be fine. These are hardy agaves, hardy yuccas, hardy. But there's also a whole series that are tropical. They aren't hardy. So if you look at the tag, this says this is growing in zones 9 and 10. That's basically Phoenix. The cold is going to take it out up here. These are zone 7, 6s. They'll go down to 0 degrees and not get damaged. That's a zone 7. So look at your plants. If you know you've got some tropicals, you want to bring those in or protect those or do something by the end of the month. That's where I brought this one, just to remind me, protect those tropicals. Every spring I have folks come in going, I lost my entire collection. And it hurts me because they've been collecting these things they brought them with them. That's a gardener thing. I'm traveling with my plants. They're going to be part of my garden, and they died that winter. That hurts. So protect those, bring them indoors. Some of my zone 8 plants, like I hear some funky cacti, like red fish hook barrels, Mediterranean mounds. These are borderline. They could get killed off if the winter gets bad enough, but I just take those, I put them underneath the overhang of the house, next to the house, they're in containers. I just reposition things so they're more protected. And I've been growing those for years and years. I've gone through some really harsh winters. They're still good, still growing. So that's a gardener thing. Don't ever tell a gardener where they can or cannot grow something. They'll figure out a way to make it grow. But this is the biggest mistake I find folks make. Okay, also we're trying to focus more on the native stuff. So I brought a couple of these, show them off. That is related to the one, the perii or artichoke agave, one with that gigantic stalk you've seen around. This is a cousin. It's just cute. It's also very hardy. So we're trying to get a larger collection of hardy agaves, yuccas, cacti. Cactus are a little harder. There's not many cactus that grow up here, but we're expanding that. I got some really exciting stuff coming in the spring. There's some great stuff out here now, but this one, again, it's going to bloom and that stalk will die. That mother plant would always have these clusters of babies underneath it. That's the way agave works, okay? Is this Victoria? This is Royal Flush agave. It's just a cool color. This would be great in a dark mocha container. It's just a blue, cobalt blue container. Just go, this is an English garden with a funky native in it. That's what you see in the front of magazines frequently. So again, great little plant. I would not actually put these on irrigation. I would actually water them by hand, because if you kill these, it's going to be from overwatering. This is mint chocolate chip agave. Is that cool or what? Look at that. You've never seen it. It's only available at Waters Garden Center. Really, it's only available at Waters Garden Center. And then this one, I brought this as a sample. This is Spanish, not Spanish broom. Did I bring Spanish broom? This is Spanish dagger or Spanish desert spoon. Desert spoon. It has a white flower on it right now. So when you're done with the white flower, the mother plant does not die for these. I just take it back as far as I can without getting poked, or it has all these spines on the leaves. As far as I can, I'll cut off the flower and I leave the plant intact. So there's different ways. If in doubt, just take the flower off and probably the plant's going to stay alive. Agaves are the only one that the mother plant dies. And the reason it does that, it puts on this long stalk, because it wants to take over the entire hillside. It's not happy just staying right here in her little space. She wants to be here and over there. So she purposely puts up this huge flower. It's going to drop over there, so the seed go over there and her pups are left behind. It's how nature kind of developed agaves to spread across the hillside. Whenever you see a big native cluster, let's say at the top of Bradshaw's, big cluster of agaves, you should always see them in clusters like that. And that's how they're spreading. Okay, so good strong native. I've got one of these. I've got two. I've got one. It's 2 plants. It's probably this big around, this tall. It's glorious. 2 plants kind of coming up. We've got some yucca trees over there, very funky, hardy trees. If you're into that kind of southwestern look, we got it. We got you covered. Okay. And then one more. Let's cover these. It's still trying to bite me. Okay, a native. This is a native. That's not a native, but it's a cousin of this, which is a native. This is silverberry or Ellie Agnes. You'll see a native plant down as you cross over the hill here down towards Skull Valley. You'll see a big green bush. That's this guy. It's silverberry, great evergreen. Gets up about head high, about this wide, great big thick full thing. Has a super fragrant flower just to die for. I think it puts roses and jasmines to shame. You don't see it really, but it's just a nice green, fragrant evergreen spring. Good strong heart. And then I would not put this on drip irrigation. I would water this by hand because it's a true native. But it can be a little, I don't know, blue-green, so we made it this way. We figured out how to take the same leaf, same color. So the middle of the leaf is the same. We just figured out how to put a variegation onto it. So now you got the native one, or you got the, I don't know, exotic one. Blonde or brunette, which one you like? So they're both the same plant. I like this one because I've got a cedar fence. It's real dark. And if I put this dark plant in front of this dark, it just didn't look right. I put this one in front of it, all of a sudden it pops and becomes designer-esque. So I let it go up to, maybe it's 8 feet by 8 feet by 8 feet up against the fence. I just let it go wild. You could trim it and hedge it, but it's a native plant. I think it deserves to be let go. I think these are much hardier than red tip Photinia. That's the #1 seller. Put my kids through college just selling red tip Photinia. That's one with the red new growth. It's too big. It gets disease. Animals eat it. I would never put that in my own yard because it's so much maintenance. This one is no maintenance, no bugs. I don't water it. It just grows. So this is my preferred broadleaf evergreen. Okay. And then lastly, and we'll leave it with this. I keep saying that, but the conifers are here. So we're starting to get these in. I brought this, just came in. We're switching right now from summer plants to fall and winter plants. This is Vanderwolf pine. So you plant these right now. We're bringing them in as Christmas trees, or your plant, we know your landscape's going to go dormant. You're going to go, dang it, I don't have enough evergreens. So we got you covered. So we sell more evergreens in the winter than we do in the spring. So Vanderwolf's a great little plant. It's real soft. The great thing is it's got this two-tone, the top of the leaf is blue, the bottom is white. So you get this two-tone kind of funky color to it, and it's real soft. So a lot of conifers, they want to poke you for some reason. Vanderwolf pines, this is related to our Colorado spruce. This is Black Hill spruce. It does get big, but it's got a smaller leaf needle and more of them. So it has this chunky kind of teddy bear look, but it still has this central leader, big swooping branches, Christmas tree looking thing. It's great by the front door, little Christmas lights on it. It screams holidays. Okay. And lastly, this is a direct cousin of the Colorado spruce. This is Baccarat spruce. It's a grafted, it's made to be this color. So it's bluer than most other spruce are because we've taken a select one and grafted onto a Colorado spruce root, and we get this funky, really rich, deep color to it. It is going to get big. It's going to get as big as a Colorado spruce. Big swooping branches. You just have these chubbier needles and brighter color. This is one that would really benefit from aluminum sulfate. Remember? Aluminums. This is what brings this color out. I wanted to leave you with that, just as a lesson. Yes, in the back, because you haven't asked a question so far. That's good. What's up? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I can do that on live, but she's saying with grandkids, you can actually pinch snapdragons and make them talk. So I don't know, you can just, hi there, how you doing, little grandkids? I have a new channel, just aside. So I've got 6 grandkids. They all live in Texas, and we love each other. I don't get to see them enough. So I created my own YouTube channel just for them. It's called Tales by Pop Pop. And I read them books. And I put my marketing team on it. So they animate my reading live. It's actually freaking me out because I had to open up the channel so anyone can see it. You can take a look, Tales by Pop Pop. This thing has taken a life of its own. I don't think any grandfather reads to grandkids on YouTube. So it's like trending. It's had thousands of downloads like that. It's kind of spooky. I might have another career. I don't know. I read them kind of one every couple of weeks, read them a book, upload it just so they can go to bed with their grandfather reading a book to them. That's like magic. New technology is amazing, but thank you for sharing that. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah. So drip irrigation is a great question. So generally, right now I am throttling mine back. I've been watering like containers every day, and still I'm not sure they were getting enough water. So I'm throttling that back to every 2 or 3 days for my containers. The landscapes I bumped it up during the heat to every 5 days because it was hot for a while. I've throttled that back to once a week. I'll probably get it back to, as soon as I get a nice frost, I'll probably cut it back to every 10 days or so. Things are, if they're rooted and they're in the yard, big maples, pine trees, if they're established, they don't need water that often. They're picking up water from all over the place. The danger, if you have landscapers helping you, they're going to come in and winterize your irrigation. Probably by the end of this month or in November, they're going to turn it off. What they're trying to do is save your backflow valve. There's a big old mechanism out of the yard. It's brass, or it's typically copper or brass or something. It's metal. And if it freezes, the water inside will just bust it up. They're trying to drain that to keep it from breaking. So you can insulate those. They make big green bags. The reason they're doing that is so they can get a couple extra weeks out of it. By January 1, though, that bag is not going to help. It's still going to freeze. It's going to permeate eventually. Sometimes, like I've taken mine in the front of the nursery. I've got a bag over mine, and I put a big fake rock over it because I need water. I need water all the time. I'm a nursery. I need water, and it doesn't freeze. So you can do some mechanisms. You can do things like that, but generally, don't let your landscapers turn it off and then think you're done with watering. You can protect your drip system because you're going to see consistent freezing by November. It's going to freeze every night. It'll be beautiful during the day, but it can freeze at night. If you do that and you've got a lot of brand new plants, you'll want to take out your hose, go old fashioned and water them by hand. Take the hose or do something. You'll still need to water through winter. You'll need to water at least twice a month through winter. So plants need water 12 months out of the year. And they need the same amount you've been watering them in the heat. So in June when it's hot, they need that amount every time. You know how much they need to water. That's how much. What you're playing with is the frequency. How often do I need to do that? So what you're doing is you're not playing with how long it runs. You're playing with how many days you go between the water cycle. So once you figure out how much water needs to water that entire root zone and a little bit more, you never have to recalculate that. It's always the same. Now you're just playing with how long does it go before the sun bakes the soil and dries out the soil. So I can help you. I can have a sidebar with you a little bit more on that. And I'm sure we'll be sharing here at later classes how to water kind of stuff. That'll be, as we see frost coming, we'll tell folks what to do. We like telling people what to do. Actually, we like helping gardeners make less mistakes. That's our goal. So right now, just fertilize. You're good to go. With that, I'll let you clap. I'll let you go. Thank you for coming. Glad you guys are here.